Welcome to the Ill Video Podcast. My name is BJ McDole, and I'll be your host as I talk a little bit about anxiety, some of the symptoms, as well as experiences and ways to help reduce levels of anxiety. So, first off, I'm going to be using Wikipedia today to get my information. So, that's my source. And what I found so far is that the definition here for anxiety is an emotion characterized by an unpleasant state of inner turmoil. As I understand that, it's simply saying something that's within us that we're basically worried about, thinking about. Maybe it's something that we anticipate. It's an experience from the past that we will then maybe apply to future events, knowing that something's coming up. We have an appointment, some sort of meeting, maybe an interview. It can be many things. It can be really anything. Everyone's different, so we all have different types of worries, concerns, and after looking at symptoms and some of the things that can cause anxiety, I would venture to say that most everyone has experienced anxiety on some level. Now, of course, there's different levels, and sometimes fear may be misinterpreted as anxiety. So here again on Wikipedia, they basically state that anxiety can be distinguished from fear, which is an appropriate cognitive and emotional response to perceived threats. So when you're in fear, of course, you're going to fear a threat or some type of in-the-moment situation. And after that moment passes, those feelings that similar to anxiety will then dissipate. Unlike anxiety, most often those feelings will stay with us for a prolonged period, depending on at what level we are experiencing anxiety and how we are dealing with it, and at what level or other scenarios and situations that will affect and bring on different levels of anxiety. So some of the symptoms are insomnia, so just not being able to sleep. I know I've experienced that myself. When at night I lay down, maybe some of you out there experience this as well. You just can't shut your brain off. It's as if it just keeps going and thinking, and no matter what you try, you just feel like you can't escape these thoughts or shut them off. So that's definitely a symptom. Racing thoughts, throughout the day. Extreme worrying, being very worried or concerned, again, about something that may be coming up, a deadline, a meeting, an interview, some sort of an appointment, those things can definitely cause you to be worrying and jittering, the shaky hands. It's also a symptom there. Loss of appetite, weight loss, not being able to focus, another symptom of anxiety. Avoiding social interactions, being more of a person that wants to stay home more often, closed in, not really wanting to interact, whether it's with friends, family, or people in general. If you're finding yourself avoiding going to the grocery store or some other type of store that you used to not mind going to, just simply because you don't want to be around people, that is also a symptom associated with anxiety. So for me, knowing, for example, that I have to go to the doctor and it's for a physical and they're going to take a blood sample, that causes me anxiety. I get nervous probably the day before, and thinking about the fact that I'm going to have to, have someone put a needle in my arm and remove blood. So one of the ways that I help just to combat that feeling of anxiety is just to know that this is a normal procedure. This is something that happens all the time, and I've had it done more times than I can count. Whether it was a shot, a vaccine, something to go to school, to give blood in the past, or just for these every few year checkups. And I think about all those things and realize that it's not something to be really getting worked up over. I don't need to lose any sleep the night before. And so I just try to take a deep breath and relax, knowing I'm going to be okay. Nothing bad is going to come of having to have blood drawn, and certainly nothing's going to come from me worrying about it other than causing myself the anxiety. Other things that can help reduce anxiety is exercise. Being physically active, taking walks, going to the gym, or getting on a cardio machine, maybe lifting some weights. That actually helps as well. There is no real cure for anxiety, but it's suggested that it starts with you and how you think about these things that you're worried or concerned with. If you just take a step back and realize that to worry about and be concerned over certain situations or whatever it may be that you're worried and it's creating your anxiety, understand that you worrying about it isn't going to really affect that outcome, or when that day does come, how it's going to play out. If you have like a college course or some sort of paper or presentation that's due, just getting started, getting in on it to where your mind's not so focused on the worry aspect of all the work that has to get done. If you just take the first step and begin on the work so that you feel like there's forward progress, that will help alleviate that feeling of anxiety. So there's a lot of things you can do, and most importantly, like I said, it really starts on how you look at those situations and perceive whatever those things causing you anxiety. Again, get outside, do something to help distract your mind. Read a book, watch a movie. Maybe there's a hobby that you used to like. Look into that. Start a blog, but it's really just to help bring your mind away from focusing on what's causing your anxiety. And now I know all the time, or many times, that may not seem reasonable or very hard. And it is very hard. And it's not going to happen instantly. It does take practice. It takes time. But over time, as you try to help reduce that anxiety by focusing on other things, you can help and make it better. There are medications, of course, but those will then may come with side effects. You want to find what works best for each of us. So again, there's a lot of different things involved with anxiety, many different symptoms, and overall, it really comes down to trying to distract your thoughts away from that focus. This is kind of a quick overview of anxiety, some symptoms, some potential ways to help reduce anxiety, and really just trying to look at it in a positive way so that we can help ourselves feel better in any way that we can. Well, thanks so much for joining in. Again, this is the Ill Video Podcast, and my name is BJ McDole. Thanks for watching. Take care.